This podcast is rated R for restricted. Under 17 requires accompanying parent or adult guardian.
Mission 250.
Welcome to the Mission 250 Filmcast, where we are watching the best movies ever made according to IMDb. You can go to our website, mission250filmcast.com, where we have the list frozen in time, and you can see what movies are coming up next. I am one of your hosts, Denny, and joining me are...
I'm John.
And TC.
And this week, it isn't John that's sick, it's TC, but that's okay, because we're going to watch the 1965 movie For a Few Dollars More, directed by Sergio Leone. The synopsis is, two bounty hunters with the same intentions team up to track down a Western outlaw. And
is it Leone or Leone?
It's Leone.
Okay, just checking.
According to all the people that said his name I've watched in the past week.
Right, I knew you would be the one to know on the commentary.
I've probably been recorded calling him Sergio Leone on this podcast because that's what I used to think it was.
Yeah.
That's all right. No one's going to listen back that far, right?
No.
Well, Leone, it sounds like you're being somewhat like a racist or something, I don't know.
I didn't say it like a Leone or whatever,
A Leone.
Exactly.
Wait, we just did.
Shit. All right.
Hey, it's Amia. You like a Western?
Yeah, right. No, we like Italians.
A lot of people going to die. It's going to be fun time.
It's going to be great.
That accent would be racist if Mario didn't exist, I think. Mario makes it okay to make fun of that accent.
Mario happened at a different time, though. That was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't have the voice until the 90s. That was only 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
Mario
that.
64.
I didn't know that factoid.
Yeah. But anyway, TC, this week is your week to review this first. What'd you think?
The movie with 1,000 stairs. How many stairs can you put in a movie? I don't know. How many are we going to do, guys? What do you think? I think maybe, we're at like 291, but, 292 feels wrong. Don't you think? I think it might be too much.
Right. I would agree.
In the script, do they just like abbreviate stairs? Because it's like they just got like some kind of marker, like it's just a red line. What's that mean? No, that means they stare at each other.
That means you got to stare for 10 minutes, actually. They know it's baked in. There's no edit point, so we're fucked. I don't know. I mean, it's a Western, so easy to watch. Don't really have to pay attention. I didn't think so.
Yeah.
The storyline was whatever. Who cares? It's just the same old Clint Eastwood bullshit he's been doing, that he does now forever. Yeah, I mean, I didn't hate it, but this is not one to write home about, in my opinion. But Clint Eastwood is, Jesus Christ, man. Did he make a different face just like for a bit? Even
Why
just
would you want
for
to? He
1
looks
second?
so good making that one face.
Oh my God, he just makes one face the whole time. It's like that Saturday Night Live thing they had with Tom Sire. He's like, hey, Tom, you have to blink. He's like, I will not blink. No, I won't. I don't have to blink. This is Clint. He's like, I don't have to make a different face. Yeah, I'm the one in charge here.
You look like you're smelling something bad, Clint? What do you mean?
Yeah, the whole time. Like
that's all I do.
Right. Did you just fart? I think you farted. I think that's what that is.
Are you about to get a sore throat, Clint? Is that what this is? Is that why you're grimacing like that?
I think that's what it was.
Does it hurt to swallow, Clint? Is that what's going on?
Could you please just let us know, Clint? Say something, Clint.
Anyways,
I don't know.
There's
a lot of there's a lot of whispers, a lot of whispering going on in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't have much for this one, honestly, because it, didn't. I didn't like it or didn't hate it. It was so indifferent to this. I don't know. Maybe it just wasn't in the mood for a Western, or who knows.
Who knows?
I don't have too much. I mean, the setting's cool, I guess, right?
Yeah.
That's
Western
cool.
In the West.
Yep.
There you go.
Right.
What Western are you talking about, John?
Yeah, the American West.
Yeah, but it's not filmed in
probably
the West.
not where it's actually shot.
Yeah.
And by shot, I mean the camera, not the bullet thingy.
Good. You gotta clarify in this one.
Here in this case, I think it's important.
Yeah. Yeah, this might be a short one. I don't know, John. What do you think?
Yeah. I enjoyed this one. I found it very entertaining. I think just because it's so over the top that I don't take it seriously, and that's good. Maybe when it was released, they thought they were taking themselves more seriously. I don't know, but it's just almost comical with the way that they, you have like bullets ricocheting everywhere in a way that apparently bullets never ever sound when they ricochet. I don't know where that sound came from. That
they recorded a gun being shot in a quarry in Rome.
Oh,
so it is a real gunshot.
Does make that sound
if you do it in a quarry?
Like a real sound.
Yeah.
If you do it and it hits rocks.
Yeah.
Not say when it like hits a hat or dirt or people.
Right. People, it's more of like same sound as if you took a hammer to a steak, something like that.
Yeah. and just their insane wizardry with bullets, shooting like cigarettes out of people's mouths and hats in the air and all of that stuff, which is, again, it just seems so unrealistic that then it's like, okay, this is fun.
Yeah.
This is like Harry Potter or something, it's not, but it's like, we're not going to take any of this seriously. So we're going to have a good time. And then with that, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the two good guys being like, distrustful of each other. I thought that was kind of added, sort of a good twist to the story because they were both interesting to watch. And it's kind of neat that it's just not Clint being the only hero badass.
True.
Not like families and children being killed here en masse. Or that was where like
that happens.
A Fistful of Dollars was
there's like
just
a baby
all about
that
the
gets
whole...
shot in this one.
Yeah, you're right. No, I'm just saying in terms of like the whole scene of A Fistful of Dollars was about a whole town that gets massacred.
Right.
And, two families at war and they eventually all kill each other. And that was more of a downer than this. I know there were elements that were just, it's fine to have that like, all right, this is fun. And then it sort of takes these dark turns that are like, so he rapes the girl and she commits suicide while he's raping her. That's pretty dark.
And then cut to comedy.
Yeah.
Cut to comedy.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Hey, can we get Clint's face back in here, please?
Yeah. So, and again, I imagine, I don't know for sure, but I think it was just more, this was serious for them. I don't think they were seeing it as like
the comedy crazy stuff was supposed to be comedy.
Oh, really?
Because
okay.
Because of the darker elements, they didn't want the movie to be that heavy. They wanted it still to be like light entertainment to a degree. Right. So, all the weird cuts and things were always like, you'd have like Levi and Cleve's boot come into the shot. And it was like, poing.
Yeah, I like that. It was just fun. Right, so that becomes like entertaining. Or I like the match scene, where, the Colonel's like lighting the match off the bad guy. Meanwhile, Clint Eastwood's lighting his own match and he's like replicating his movements. Yeah. But the Colonel's the one that's harassing the bad guys in that scene. So I like that. I like those aspects. I liked the actor who played the bad guy. I thought he was very good, except for the laughter bits. Although, again, that I did love that they had his wanted poster has him laughing. I thought that was pretty funny.
Was good, yeah.
Yeah, nobody does that. Nobody has a wanted poster where they're cackling unless they're this mad guy that cackles all the time because that's what mad people do. Have you ever known anybody or heard of anybody in real life that laughs at someone else's suffering like that? I've never heard it. I don't think it's ever a thing in real life.
Yeah, but you don't hang out with those people. I might. Yeah, I might. Yeah. I might know a guy.
You can do a cackle when someone else is suffering. Yeah. Okay. It's good to know because I didn't know if it's ever really a thing.
Right. You've seen RoboCop, right, John?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah, there's a scene in that movie where they're like killing a cop and they're all laughing as they're like shooting his arms off and shit with a shotgun.
Yeah.
Whenever I see movies where people are laughing while they're torturing somebody, I think of RoboCop because it's fucked up.
Is that's like your sort of, that's where it really hit the nerve?
I saw it when I was like pretty young, and that movie's rated X, and it's a very violent movie.
Yeah, it is.
Rated X, huh? Jesus Christ. I don't think I've ever seen one that was rated X. Was
this
it?
Is X
this
too,
one was?
Yeah. Initially.
No shit, it might be the first one.
Even after they edited out the rape scene and they edited out they cut some parts from that punching scene, it was still rated X.
Wow. I'm surprised.
I know.
I guess it was violent, but like still, I don't know.
Well, the rule was there was a weird rule back then where you couldn't show the gun of a villain and the person being shot in the same shot. And since this was an Italian movie, Sergio Leone didn't know that rule, so he did it. And it was like this one and A Fistful of Dollars were like the first ones to ever show.
Oh, look what he did. Oh my God,
he did it again.
Do that. He did it again.
Yeah.
He did it again.
He's not obeying the rules. Yeah. He's got to get an X. But now no one cares about that because it happens all the time.
Right. Yep. It's different times. That's right. Okay.
But you used to just have like the reaction shots of the cowboys. Like you'd hear the gunshot and you'd see the guy just by himself, like grabbing his stomach and falling over, which is less violent, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Somehow maybe you're not going to make the connection. Oh, could have been anything,
Right.
And who knows what happened there? Could have been the gun. I don't know.
Could be a stomach ache. I can't tell.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, lots of people die from bullets shot from guns.
47 people die in this movie.
It's a big gun movie.
It is.
You didn't know.
Pro
you didn't
gun.
know already. Yeah, big gun movie.
I'm not surprised that Clint Eastwood stance on guns after watching these movies.
Yeah, you'd probably think,
I mean, you got to figure he loves guns, right? He loves guns. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Guns are great.
I wouldn't doubt. He's got to love guns. He's a big supporter of the NRA, right? Got to be.
I don't know.
And just spreading lies about Clint Eastwood. No big deal.
Hey,
Isn't he?
I don't know.
I don't know what his stance are.
I didn't look it up.
His stance-
I was just making shit up.
Anyway, so the other thing I, again, just sort of enjoyed, there's so many, like, it's
to
just
clear it
seems
up,
so
he's been in
hysterical.
favor of controls. So
Oh, has he?
he's pro-gun, but he's in favor of controlling it.
Okay.
Just to clear that
So,
up.
like,
Well, he's smart.
maybe-
He lives in Hollywood.
Maybe not let the bad guys have the guns.
Yes.
Look, I like having them, but let's not like kill everybody, huh? You know?
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah. So everything, there was like so many, and I'm sure this movie didn't necessarily set the stereotypes, but it's just, done very well with the saloons and the swinging doors and the piano player and all of the things that you expect in the Western movie. It's there. And to me, it was just kind of fun to watch. So because of the movie, it didn't take itself too seriously, except in some parts where it felt weird when it did. Then I didn't mind it. But yeah, again, the bad guy laughing so much and for so long, it's just like, let's just move on.
Yeah.
John hates it when people
mean-
are having a good time.
Yeah,
Doesn't like a
exactly.
cackle.
That's my
Yeah.
problem.
No.
No, I don't. I'm not a good. I'd never make it amongst the witches. It'd be, can you stop it? Could we? I know. Yeah, that's bad. That's a good potion you brewed up. But can we all move on here? Because
What?
It's just
Witches.
It's really not that funny. It's not.
I don't know what witch lore you're pulling from here for that
I have no
comparison.
idea. I just imagine witches are the ones that cackle all the time, or any other bad guys. I would never worked well with the Joker. Although the Joker, it sort of works for him. That's his whole thing. That's his whole spiel.
He can't help it. His face is like
spiel,
frozen in
whatever.
a smile, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's insane, and so that's what he's decided to take on. So you
didn't think India was insane?
No, I don't know. I've never known it. I'm not known. Yeah, I mean, it just seems like it's a very cartoonish thing to do, whether you're a mad scientist or what have you, and that's well and good. It just goes on for a long time, so it gets boring very quickly. It's like if you had a mad chuckle, then maybe it'd be all right. You just kind of went, and then it was over.
And that was it.
But no, it's got to go on and on and on.
Now we got to get a shot of him coming in. We got to get a slow move in of him cackling.
Yeah. So essentially, it's just boring. It's just annoying.
Hold on,
after a while.
wait.
Yeah.
Cut to the eyes. What did I say? Cut to the eyes. What are you doing? Right? I mean, just Christ. It's like,
Can you see
slow
the beads
zoom,
of sweat on their
cut to the
face?
eyes.
Are we close enough to see the beads?
Yeah.
We are? Okay, good.
And
Pretty much.
otherwise, I surprisingly liked this film. I enjoyed it a lot more than I did Fistful of Dollars.
Nice. I agree with you, John.
So-
I'm surprised neither of you mentioned the music in this movie.
Well, isn't it?
well, the music is, I
It's
don't know.
the same as The Good, Bad, and the Ugly. And didn't they do the same almost in Fistful of Dollars?
I mean, it's all similar themed, kind of, but like the melodies and stuff are different. And especially
Yeah.
like that watch song is unique to this movie. The
yeah,
little
yeah.
Right. 'cause
whatever
it's
the fuck
guys.
that watch is.
Right.
That's his. Yeah, I assumed it was the Colonel's daughter. I didn't think it would be sister. But yeah.
Yeah, because he does seem kind of old, but who knows how long ago Indio
I
killed
know.
them. I guess.
How long ago this whole thing happened?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, my favorite part of this movie was the music and the editing during the scenes where no one was talking. Just like the scenes of them riding horses and like the landscapes and that sweet electric guitar with chanting in the background. And
Oh yeah,
there's like nothing else like that in a
twangy
movie.
guitar with the wow,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's
sweet.
pretty cool.
And like
Yeah.
a lot of people rip it off now, but it's still really good.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, the dialogue stuff I didn't care about. So I'm with you, TC, at least there. It's a lot of faces. You really got to like looking at
It's a lot of
people's
faces.
Yeah,
Isn't it a lot of faces?
It's landscapes and faces. That's what this movie is. It's those two things
Yep.
back and forth the entire time. And the landscapes are beautiful, but you do get desensitized to it. It's not saying that it gets bad. It's just like if you watch something that's the exact same for 2 hours, then you're kind of like, well, yeah, it's still good looking, but I've already seen it.
Sure.
You know, it's like,
It's another wide open grand. It's a plain.
yeah,
there,
beautiful
and
mountains in the
who got
background, nice
shot-
day.
Who got shot at the very beginning? Was that somebody in the film, or is that just a thing? Like, yeah,
It was
it's a
a-
western.
It was a bounty. That was supposed to be a Clint Eastwood's character. Like you were point of view Clint Eastwood's character as he was watching the guy, like a
Oh.
bounty that we didn't know who that guy was, but it was his first
don't
bounty.
even know. Oh, okay. Just checking on that.
Yeah. And the whistling was Sergio Leone himself. He did the whistling. Just a little trivia fact there, huh?
Did he really?
He did.
I mean,
I
that
didn't
was
know that.
another thing that was like everything
surprised,
was
TC.
just.
That's the
yeah.
best. That's the best trivia I've heard all day.
Oh, I'm glad you liked it because the other ones are slightly worse than that, but that's a high bar.
Sure they are. I was expecting them
something.
not to be very good, to be honest. But
I mean, that everything was overdubbed, like, so obviously was also sort of, I mean, it just adds to the strangeness of the film, I guess. But
it's good knowing it's that way. I remember the first time I watched one of these spaghetti Western movies, it was really distracting.
Yeah.
Because they're like some people's mouths align, but not perfectly because they're speaking English in reality too, but they still dubbed them afterwards.
Right. And the other sounds have no depth to them. Like that whistling, it's like, it's just everything's just kind of like flat, like right there.
Except for the gunshots are super echoey.
Yeah, there's that. And the ricochets.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, the ricochets.
Constant ricochet.
And also when it hits a hat in the air, really loud ricochet, echoey sound.
Bring.
it doesn't do that in regular life.
No.
Okay. Huh.
I didn't think so.
Interesting. I don't know. Yeah. We got to test that theory, I guess. No, we don't.
No.
Anyway.
But it is cool, like the fact that they don't shoot the audio when they're doing it lets them, like it's a multilingual cast. Like there were people who only spoke English, only spoke Italian, or only spoke Spanish. And Leone mostly spoke Italian, and he could still direct them because what he would do is act out what he wanted people to do.
Okay.
So he would like pantomime. He'd stand next to people he couldn't communicate with and just like point at the ground to be like, start here and then move around, do this and then end here. And be like, got it. And people would just do that. And that's exactly what he wanted. Plus, also, he didn't cast on acting. He cast on people like how they look, their faces, basically.
Well, that makes sense because look what he's doing.
He's showing their faces.
I wonder if he meets people and he just gets right up to them like inches away and is like,
Do you think he does that? What is that little trick where you put your fingers together in a little rectangle? Directors do that.
Yeah. He's just like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just fit your face on a screen.
Me. Hey, I came here for the audition. Yeah. Shut up. Okay, look. All right. Yeah, you're breathing on me, man.
Can you imagine going to an audition and not knowing and just having Leone like kind of pace around you, just breathing heavily, staring at you? You're like, can I tell my lies now? It's like, you're excused. Yeah. You're not wanted. Go away.
No, I memorized this thing from Shakespeare. No, shut up.
All it says in the script is make your face. What don't you get about this?
Bring
Clint?
your face.
Yeah.
Can you sweat
Clint,
on command?
You don't even have a line here. All you got to do is make your face. That's it.
Stand there, sweat, and squint.
Yes.
Do you have any objections to tobacco? No? Good.
That's fair. Yeah.
Good.
Did you guys get that it was supposed to be weed that he was smoking while he was like getting paranoid in his bed?
Oh, no. I had no idea about that.
No, I thought it was just a cigarette.
That's what I thought too. But like those scenes where he's kind of staring off and like going back to the flashback, it's supposed to be weed. And it was like right when weed was getting popular everywhere.
Really?
And nobody on the movie set, like the writer or anybody, like they just watched Reefer Madness basically and thought that weed made you like hallucinate and shit. So they added a scene where he hallucinates this terrible thing he did.
As opposed to like giggling and hungry. I mean, I would like to see
or just
that
passing
character
out because you
instead.
smoked too much or whatever.
Yeah, it's like, I'm here to kill you.
And then just cackle for 10 minutes.
I think that'd be even more disturbing.
I just shot your hat. I shot it again. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Do you guys notice how when Clint Eastwood fights people or does anything, drinks, does anything, he does it with one hand. He does it with his left hand.
I didn't notice that.
Oh, really?
The first fight scene, he's like beating people up with only his left hand.
What's wrong? Why?
The idea is that he
was
has...
it obvious? Were we supposed to notice it?
You're supposed to notice it, kind of. I didn't notice it either. But like he has that leather strap on his right hand.
I was gonna say if you came out and you're like, I noticed it, I'd be like, fuck you. How did you notice that? I'd be pissed. I'd be like, no, you didn't. I don't believe it. You know?
I thought so. I mean, I guess I take that back. So you can tell me, fuck you. In the first fight scene, I noticed that he was fighting with one hand, but I thought that it was just to show how badass he was. But then I didn't notice it for the drinking or the rest of the movie. But he barely ever uses his right hand.
Hey, fuck you. You didn't notice that.
Oh, you're right. I'm an asshole. God damn it. But the intent there is that he always has his hand on his gun.
Oh, so he's always
fighting,
ready to shoot.
Always ready to shoot. When he's, beating people up or drinking, he just wants to go on without maybe not shooting anybody. But he's such a
he's ready.
Infamous, he's an infamous gun guy, bounty hunter, gun guy, same thing.
Gun guy.
Gun guy works. Yeah.
Where he's always on the alert, kind of. And there was also supposed to be something in the movie that this I didn't pick up on TC. So here you go. His famous,
this is normal.
His famous, I guess like so that the Indio's mugshot was him laughing because everybody who saw him laughing because whenever he was doing violent stuff, he was laughing, that sort of thing. Clint Eastwood's thing was the leather strap on his hand. So they identified him as the bounty hunter by the leather strap because no one else had that apparently in this world. So that's the reason why when he goes to meet Indio and pretends he's not this guy, he doesn't have his hand hidden and he doesn't have the leather strap on.
Interesting.
And Indio finally gives him back the leather strap when he busts him when they're stupidly climbing down the roof and don't look down and just step on fucking Indio's head, which was the dumbest part of the
I
movie.
didn't notice any of that shit.
Yeah.
I didn't notice any of that shit.
No, I mean, I think it's pretty well hidden. It doesn't ever, as far as I could tell, make it obvious. It's just kind of like, hidden character stuff if you want to.
Yeah.
It doesn't really affect the plot of the movie. I mean, most things don't affect the plot of this movie.
Though now that you mention that was
isn't much of a plot.
That was another boring part where it's like, oh, great. Now the good guys get captured and get tortured. Yeah, I guess we have to have that. So you have to wait for that to get
There
over
was an
with.
exact same scene in A Fistful of Dollars where
Yep.
they were like
he
circled
gets
around
captured
people.
and tortured.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember it being more violent in the first one.
I think, no, they didn't. I mean, it was more violent because he was like tied up and being tortured as opposed to, I think in this one, it was that they were just getting beaten up by the gang and there was maybe 2/3 of the time was spent showing how everybody else was laughing and maybe 1/3 about them getting beaten up. So it was less intense, I think.
Oh, you're going to knock points off just because of the laughing. That's it. It's
Too
the
much
one thing.
laughter.
Yeah.
People having way too much fun.
Also, it was kind of cartoony how they were like getting punched and rotating around the circle. It's kind of like a merry-go-round little ride there. An unfun merry-go-round.
Yeah, my kids have been on one of those.
An unfun merry-go-round?
They don't get punched. Yeah, they have a toy store here that also has a carousel in it. And it was one of those sort of disappointing parent moments where we think we're going to do something really fun for the kids and it turns into a moment of terror for them. And they were both screaming the whole time.
On the carousel?
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Wait, just like,
What is this thing? Why is it moving?
and we're not even talking about a carousel where someone punches you every time you go around, right? Just a regular
no
carousel?
punching, just a regular old carousel. Yeah.
What? Was it the up and down, or was
the punching
it the
was only on
circles?
Sundays at the toy store. What?
Was it the up?
There's no rhyme or reason for kids. That doesn't make any sense.
Did one start crying and the
That's
other
what
one's
I
like,
learned
good
this
idea,
weekend.
I'm going to cry too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
There's no rhyme or reason.
Probably
It
our
just
daughter
happens.
was taking it. Started to just say, "This is not good. I don't see the point of this. I want off."
You can't get
We're
off.
not
It's
going.
unsafe. The safest way
I
to
know.
do this is to stay on.
I know that's exactly right.
Yeah. You guys got anything else?
No, I mean I'm sort of
No.
interested now to finish this off and see Good, Bad, and the Ugly eventually. Now to kind of just round it all out. So.
Some people swear that this one's the best one, but those people are probably naysaying hipsters, so we'll see.
Maybe, but I like this one a lot more than Fistful of Dollars.
I would agree
So-
with that too, yeah. It seemed, I don't know, why? Was it more polished? Was it just bigger scope, cooler towns, faster editing?
For me, I liked it more because it was most of it just seemed to want to be just entertaining and not like take itself
Drama,
seriously.
yeah.
And Fistful of Dollars didn't do that. Fistful of Dollars arguably might have had some better action scenes because it was more serious. They didn't have that sort of comedic over the top feel that this one has. They weren't like shooting hats out of the air, cigarettes out of people's mouths, blah blah blah. So that one seemed to take itself more seriously. So that made this more fun. And I also, again, I just liked how the pace moved pretty well, other than a couple of points. But I thought the plot moved pretty well and juggled the two bounty hunter characters well, sort of that you got to follow both of them and kind of I liked what they were doing. So I think that sort of like moved along well. It wasn't just like, oh, good guy goes and gets the bad guy. It's like you got these two good guys that sort of have to distrust each other, but get along, but work together, but also like try to like betray each other too. So that just made it more interesting.
Agreed. Do you think Lee Van Cleef added a lot?
I thought so. Yeah.
I mean, if we're going for facial close-ups, he's got a good face to zoom in on. A lot of stuff to look at in that guy's face.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought he held
That's
his
true.
own against Clint as sort of like
That is
an
true.
older, different style, where he like was more like the tactician and had the long range weapon, and Clint was just more the young punk that just didn't care. So I kind of thought they contrasted well.
Agreed.
I mean, what you're saying is not wrong. So I don't. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
I don't wholeheartedly agree, but I can't go against it.
Yeah, but I
love
can't really go against it.
We
So
haven't,
what are we going to go?
We haven't had
next?
that TC mode of analysis for a little while. I welcome it.
Yeah.
Can't
That's
see
right.
anything wrong with that. So I'll give that
So,
one a pass.
I'm going to let you have that one there, John. Yeah, right.
Did you understand why they tricked Clint when they were robbing the El Paso bank? I'm not sure it's worth getting into the nitpicking of the plot, but like they didn't tell him that they were going to blow up the back wall of the bank to get the thing out. It like surprised Clint to the point where it's like, did Indio not trust Clint's character in this movie even then?
I think that they might have just not told anybody that unless they had. I just assumed they hadn't told anybody unless they had to.
Well, it was like a large
do
crew. Like they had a cart. They had the little slide thing to like, lower it down into the cart. Explosives team. Like it was it seemed like it was almost the entire crew of Indio's crew. Maybe it's just because he was new. He like didn't tell him or something.
Maybe. Or it seemed like what if Indio had just directed them like at the last moment to be like, nope, we're going around the back.
Well, wouldn't it have been hard to plant dynamite? I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's.
I don't know.
That sounds stop getting into this shit. You could go like this all night.
That's
like,
pre-planted. The dynamite wasn't pre-planted though. They had to go there and put it there, right?
But that's also confusing, I guess, because if they weren't watching that part of the wall or noticing people planting dynamite against the bank, what were they doing?
Yeah, why were they like counting the steps of the guys and coordinating all that? I don't know.
So I was confused about that too. Was that just because there were security guards at the bank and they wanted to see how long it took them to rotate around the bank so they could, have that many seconds to plant something?
I was thinking something like that too.
But I was confused because I thought the people walking were the bad guys in the beginning. Yeah. I need to be explained things more clearly than this movie is willing to do.
I mean, after I watched it, I had to read the synopsis. So there you go.
So wait a minute. What?
Now upset. Yeah.
All right.
So what was this happening again? Who's who?
He shoots that guy. He shoots that guy. It sounds about right. He shoots him. Okay. Yep. This is what I watched.
Right. Yep. That's a lot of shooting. Yeah. Oh, that's what the sound effect was for. Got it. Sound effect to face.
What did Clint do with the lock when he took the gold out of that treasure chest thing in the barn or whatever that was? It looked like he dropped something into the keyhole of the lock. Did you guys see that?
It wasn't Clint. It was the other guy, the colonel, who did something, I thought.
Maybe it was him. It was one of the two, for sure.
What I assumed was somehow he was making it look like that the lock no longer was tampered with or didn't look like. So he like painted it or something to make it less likely that they would notice that it had been opened.
Oh. Huh. Did they wear and tear so quickly that like one use would strip all the paint off of a lock?
Yeah, I don't know. But that's what I just assumed. Like they were like painting it or something just to sort of make sure that he would not notice that it had been used recently.
Once again, that is better than the nothing that I came up with, John. So I will take that.
Yeah, right. There you go, John. I think John wins this one.
Dude, you can come up with anything you want. I'm at 0 with these questions, so I will take them. How do you guys feel about the sympathetic bad guy that's like a child murderer? He killed like a baby, and yet he's not fantasizing about how bad of a person he is by killing the baby. He's fantasizing about, a rape suicide that happened who knows how long ago. Do you think that's just like trying to make his character seem somewhat sympathetic? That he has some moral inside of him or something?
I don't know. I was confused too. I actually like it blotted out the baby killing. So maybe I wasn't paying attention there. When did the baby get killed?
It was the baby of his Levi and Cleve's sister when, he in the beginning he goes to like that church thing. And he brings the wife and the baby. It's the guy who put Levi and Cleve, the Indio guy in jail. The cop who did that.
Right. So
and he goes to his house.
Right, they're shot off screen.
Right.
I forgot that whole part. Yeah.
That's when John turned around.
I know, probably, yeah. It's like,
good parental instincts. Whenever they shoot a baby with a gun, you just like block it out of your memory immediately.
They turn around. Yeah, right. We don't listen to that. We don't see that. Never happened. I don't need that.
Yeah, didn't happen. Yeah, you're right. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. You guys ready for commentary?
Sure. What you got?
Sure.
Who you got?
It was
medium.
Huh?
If you like this movie and you like commentaries, it's probably worth a listen. It was a historian guy, and he was mostly informative, but he did still do the thing, especially towards the second half, where he just described what was going on in the movie. And especially, like, it was weird because he would have a lot of trivia during the scenes where a lot of stuff was going on, but like the scenes where like the most horrible things were going on in the movie was when he just like watched the movie and said what was going on the screen.
So now he's shooting the baby off screen. Yeah. There, bang. That's when the baby
shot. As you see here, the baby's been shot.
Yeah. It was that scene, and it was the both times the rape scene happened. He just described what was on screen, as opposed to just like spouting off trivia. But he had some pretty good some good trivia. Clint Eastwood did not want to do it initially because he hadn't seen Fistful of Dollars, and there wasn't an English dub yet. So Sergio Leone sent him a Italian version, and Clint at his house with a bunch of his friends had a screening, and everybody liked it so much that he immediately signed on the next day, even though he didn't know, like, they said even though they couldn't understand the language, they could follow the plot well enough, and everyone was entertained, which is good, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like a silent movie, kind of. You don't really need to know what's going on, just like this one. You don't really need to know what's going on.
You don't really need to know what's going on, right?
Yeah. Lee Van Cleef was basically retired at this point, but they had like 5 other people they wanted to play the role of the second bounty hunter, and they all dropped out. And like the 4th guy that had signed on a week before shoot dropped out to go into a different movie. So Sergio Leone, he only went to the United States twice in his life, and once was to fly there to get somebody for this role. And he wanted to get Lee Van Cleef because he noticed him. I don't know if you guys remember, but he was in High Noon, which we saw like 3 years ago at this point almost. So I had to look it up too, but he was like, that was his biggest role before this. And it was kind of a decline from there. It was kind of fucked up, actually. What they said was he was in High Noon, and it kind of made him somewhat of a star. But everybody in Hollywood that was hiring for a movie told him he needed to get his nose done, like a nose job.
Really?
Because it made him look too evil.
That's rough feedback, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Bub, just a side note here.
Yeah.
Hey, your nose.
He's like, dude, I'll cast you.
We can fix that.
I can cast you as a good guy,
that.
but you look like a bad guy. You got to fix your nose, dude. And he rejected, so he was typecast as a bad guy in Westerns for 20 years in smaller and smaller roles.
Holy shit.
So
that sucks.
It does. But this is the beginning of like a new industry, basically, the spaghetti Western. So, and Sergio Leone grew up watching Hollywood Western. So he like knew Lee Van Cleef and knew his face and wanted him in the role. So basically, if it wasn't for that, then he would have gone on to like into obscurity. But now he's in like 2 of these movies and then like a ton of other spaghetti Western movies after this. The clothing that Clint Eastwood wears was from the TV show Rawhide. He brought it from Hollywood to wear for the first movie, and he wore it for all 3 of these movies, the same exact poncho. And you can see like in the last one, there's stitches to like, he never washed it, he said either, which I don't believe, but that's what, everyone says. But they did have to mend it because they put bullet holes in it and stuff. So in The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, you can see mended bullet holes from where he gets shot in these other movies, which is kind of cool. It's kind of weird too, though, because he's not supposed to be the same character in all 3 of these movies. But he is, if you look at his poncho.
Pretty much.
He's not supposed to be the same guy?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I assumed
they run
he's
out
the
of
man
ideas
with no
to
name.
put clothes on him or something? What the hell?
Right.
Like each time he's the man with no name, it's not like the different man with no name.
Yeah, but it is a different, like they said that in this one.
He's man with no name too, John. You didn't know that?
Yeah, he's like son of man of no name.
Because he wasn't a bounty
man
hunter.
with no name junior.
Yeah, that was the mailman's kid.
Was he a bounty hunter in the first one, or was he just a weirdo?
No, we didn't know what he was in the first one. He was not defined.
The man with no name and the man with no motive.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
He saw a little kid get his feet shot at and then decided to murder an entire town.
That's right. That's how it goes.
It's a good plot. Indio didn't speak English at all, and you can see his mouth moving. It's not speaking English, but he did his own dub, and he did it in English. And he had a voice actor or whatever, like somebody to sit there next to him and just feed him lines phonically, and he would just repeat the lines and he had no idea what he was saying.
Wow.
Which is pretty crazy. The Western set still exists. It's called Mini Hollywood. It's in Spain, which is where, these movies made famous, and then all the spaghetti Westerns in the future filmed there. You can go there if you want. Ennio Morricone is the guy who wrote the score. He, I don't know if you guys saw The Hateful Eight.
Parts of it.
Parts of it.
Not the whole thing.
He won an Oscar for that movie. It was his first Oscar.
Really?
Tarantino brought him out of retirement. So that's the same guy. And also, we've seen Battle of Algiers. He did the soundtrack for that. And the director saw this movie and wanted him to do that one. So this one got him on that job. And he would write music before the movie was done. And they would play some of the music he made during the shoot of the scenes. So they could get the rhythm down and the attitude down of what they were trying to do.
Cool.
Oh, did you notice there was palm trees in the desert in one scene?
No, I didn't.
No.
I didn't either, but they were there during one scene. It was when Clint killed 3 of the guys and then came back with the neck scar to be like, they got us in Santa Fe or whatever it was. There were palm trees there. Those palm trees were planted during the shoot of Lawrence of Arabia, and they somehow survived in the desert since the filming of that movie. So that was that's...
They were planted with another
with another
movie?
movie.
That's funny.
Yeah. And they just leave things. Movies, sometimes they just build shit and they're like, all right, hope you're not bothered by the palm trees in the town we built in the middle of the desert and you're
sorry, ecosystem, whatever, right? We'll film here again, I bet you, and we'll use it. It's
we'll bring
fine.
cars out here and just like smog up the air for you if you want that.
Yep. Sure.
Mm-hmm. Clint would take naps between takes to get into character, he claimed.
That's how he gets his face?
That's how he gets he's nappy.
Hey, Clint,
He's a little sleepy.
it's time. Take your nap. Yeah, take your nappies. It's time. We want your face. Get your face ready. All right.
They shot for
I'll be
15-hour days. That's a long time to shoot from break of dawn till 9 p.m. at night every day.
How long did it take him to shoot?
They did not say. It was pretty quick because they filmed. It was at most probably a month or two because they released The Good and the Bad, the Ugly very shortly after this. Like they were pretty efficient at making movies in Italy back then. We talked about this during the Yojimbo episode or maybe Fistful of Dollars, but they were in the United States stuck in the lawsuit with Kurosawa because Fistful of Dollars was a total ripoff of Yojimbo, and they sued and they were winning basically. So they didn't have rights to distribute these in the United States, but they eventually that all settled down in 1967, and all three of these movies were released in the theaters within 4 months of each other.
Damn.
So people just got blasted with these movies.
With all this stuff.
Can you imagine that now? All three Lord of the Rings movies coming out within 4 months of each other? TC doesn't understand that, but yeah, I mean, it would be weird to have
no, I would never understand that. Yeah.
No storyboarding. It's all in Leone's head.
Yeah.
Damn.
Crazy.
Did it well enough.
That is crazy.
Yeah. And the only time there was any bad blood, this last piece of trivia, was when the Indio character, he did his scenes way too over the top. So maybe John Leone was kind of on your page, the laughter and all that stuff he didn't like. So what he would do is
really?
He didn't like it too much. But I mean, the takes they kept in were the ones where Leone would make him do the same scene over and over again to the point where he was tired, kind of like what Kubrick did to some people. And one day it just pissed the actor off so much that he walked off the set, but then no one would drive him out of the desert because they're like, dude, you have to shoot
So
and
what
you
did he
can't go anywhere. He went back to shooting.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
We'll have to calm down. And they were like, dude, you can't leave. We're not going anywhere.
Dude, where's he going?
I'm gone.
He knows we're in the desert, right? Where the fuck is he going?
Goodbye,
He knows there's no
everybody.
way out, right? Nah, he'll calm down. He'll be back.
Yeah.
Half an hour later, all right, I'm good. Sorry about that.
Right. Anybody got any water?
Yeah, right. Yeah, actually, you bring any whiskey?
Dude,
Yeah.
he's too tired to laugh anymore.
Perfect. All right. That's what I wanted. That's all I got for this one.
So his cackling laughter wasn't Sergio's idea, or was it?
They didn't say anything specifically about the laughter. They just said his over the topness was something that Leone was trying to tamper down.
Oh,
so what we had was the tampered down takes of everything.
Wow.
So who the hell knows what he was
Jesus
doing?
Christ. Could you imagine?
Yeah, I can't.
Holy
this
shit.
guy?
They're
I
like,
honestly
dude,
can't imagine.
you don't scream and laugh. Do you ever scream and laugh at the same time? He's like, yes. You're like, dude, no one does that.
Yeah.
Jesus, man. Calm down.
It's weird too because he's not always being loud and energetic. Sometimes
he's very intense and quiet. He does that well.
Yeah.
Actually, I thought, but yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. Would you guys put this in the top 250?
No.
John?
I don't think so. I found it enjoyable, but it's more like it's a fluff sort of thing. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it on there. Just for the music, man. The music is music is iconic. The movie itself is pretty good, fluffy. I'll agree. I don't know.
Yeah.
I really like this
That's
music, and Tarantino took a lot from this. You get the Western shit in the Kill Bill movies, and I think they had some Western stuff in Inglourious Bastards too. That's influence there, huh? Got to give credit somewhere.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
All right, you guys. Next week, you ready for this? We're doing a quick one, and by quick one I mean not quick one. Sorry, that's 2 weeks from now.
Long one.
Is it long? 2 hours, 18 minutes. Fairly long.
Ooh.
But it's
All right.
somewhat recent. 1997, LA Confidential.
Oh.
Have you guys seen this one?
I don't know if I've seen that. I don't think
John?
I've seen that, no.
I know. I've seen it before. Yeah.
Okay.
Have you haven't seen? Have you seen it?
I have seen it a while ago.
Okay.
I think I saw it way back in the 90s, maybe late 90s. The synopsis is: as corruption grows in 1950s Los Angeles, 3 policemen, one straight-laced, one brutal, and one sleazy, investigated a series of murders with their own brand of justice.
Wait a minute. You got dopey, sleazy, and what now?
Doc.
Doc.
Yeah.
Okay. great.
Grumpy. I don't know.
This could be awful, but it could be all right. I don't know. We'll see.
I think you'll like it. It's got Kevin Spacey, Russell Crowe, Guy Pearce, Kim Basinger, Danny DeVito.
Okay. Lots of names. So
Yeah.
that's good.
Lots of famous people. Okay. I got nothing
I mean,
else.
it's in
kind of
LA,
film.
so I mean that might be good. Shit. All right.
Yeah.
You know,
Could
like
be.
the name LA Confidential, you know. Okay. Well, good times.
Open mind.
Another one down.
Yeah. Only
Yeah.
one more of these ones to go. All right.
Right.
Thank you for listening, everyone. We're on Twitter and Facebook. Mission250filmcast.com is the website. Like and subscribe. And that's it. Thanks for listening.
All right. See you guys next week. Oh, wait,
Later,
Timmy.
dudes. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Gotta make sure,
Where's
John.
Where's Timmy go? I don't know where he went.
All right, I forgot.
He just came to say quick hi.
All right.
Okay.
Good night.